All right, thanks for joining us. We're going to take a look at this XE235UCR from XCMG. New to our lot, might be new to you. Let's take a look. Okay, so when we take a look at this 235 UCR, conventional boom and stick, we have a total digging depth of about 22 feet. So we're able to get down to what we need. We've got a 45-inch on the severe duty. So if you want to run the heaviest duty bucket this thing will get, you'll be able to run out to a 45-inch bucket. You can get wider as you reduce that heavy loading. And of course, that severe duty is just the density of the material you're trying to move. So we do have 3 different categories of buckets: light duty, heavy duty, severe duty. When we take a look at the bucket, we have a classic wedge type bucket coupler. These can be ordered with a pin grabber. This one here in our yard in Calgary right now has a wedge type. So really common. Most of you already have buckets that are going to fit onto this machine. All of our excavators are coming with our auxiliary flows. So we have aux 1 and aux 2. Both of these hydraulics are bi-directional. We do have the ability for this high flow one right here. We have the ability to direct that back to tank. So anytime we're using an auger, a hammer, a plate tamper, something that needs high flow and has a motor, we're gonna use that diverter valve. But these guys are both bi-directional. So that means if you're running a tilt and a rotator, you can run the tilt on one, the rotator on the other, and you'll be good to go. This fifth line right here, so we have a big one on this side, big one on the other side, little one on this side, little one on the other side. This fifth line is our K-strain line. So anytime you're hooking up a motor to the end of this excavator, you're gonna need that K-strain line to run back to tank. When we take a look at the blade right here, we do have a dual cylinder blade. This gives us the ability to push some material. And you know, it might even save you from needing to bring that skid steer out. We just dug a hole really silly in our yard here just to show some of the movements of this machine. But what's really great about having the blade is that ability to push the material back, and you might not need to bring another machine. And therefore you can sort of get your job done for less money because you didn't bring a second machine to the job. Okay, so we're not saying you're gonna plow any giant mounds with this thing, but you do have the ability to move material, put that material back in place, and essentially have a one machine solution with a fairly heavy machine. It's a 58,000 pound operating weight. We have a bucket breakout force of 28,000 pounds. We have an arm breakout force of 20,000 pounds. So perfectly capable while being small enough to still have a blade attached to it. Of course, all this is being powered by a Cummins 6.7 liter engine. So this is a power plant we all know very well. It is a well-trusted engine in the industry. We've got our power disconnect, so this is our night switch. We can shut this off and the shift. If we want it as a service tech, we can lock this out and make sure that we can't start this machine before we do our oil changes. Take a look at our air filter right here. We do have a pre-cleaner on this air filter. So that means we are looking to extend the life of our air filters by adding this pre-cleaner assembly. And so we get that turbulent airflow that comes in, the dust gets knocked out, and we collect that first stage dust here before it ends up in our primary air filter, which extends our filter service life. Then we have our primary air filter. This air filter, according to XCMG, they've done this in works with Cummins to make sure that this is okay. You can blow this air filter out 6 times before you got to change the secondary. Anytime you do change that secondary air filter that's in there, you should also change the primary at the same time. Essentially, you're looking at getting a 1-year life out of your air filters. Let's take a look at some of the compartments. So if we take a look, this is our main hydraulic valve. So we have pilot operated hydraulic controls. Lots of you guys are gonna like that. Not an direct electronic control for the pilot operated control for our main hydraulic valve. All standard fittings. These are great high quality connections. Talking about SAE flange fittings, all high quality hoses, great crimps. We should see longevity out of the hydraulic lines and fittings that were used here. Everything's fitting into this tight radius unit here. So we have our hydraulic pump, easy access in the back, along with our fuel water separator, our pilot filter. And we have our second fuel filter right here. So everything's tucked in, very, very easy to get access to as a service tech. When we take a look at our service points, underneath the bottom of this counterweight, it is a reduced tail swing, but we still have an easy access cover that will allow us to swing just a small door, less than a dinner plate, swing that out, get your oil drain so that you can get your services done on time and get them done quick. All right, well, let's talk about the undercarriage of this 235. So we have 32-inch track pads is the width of this track pad from the factory. So that's our width right here. We have 9 lower rollers. We have 2 upper rollers. We take a look at our tracks right here. We have sealed and lubricated top rollers and lower rollers. We have our final drive in the rear here. We have our final drive back here. Our level plug, easy to see. Our fill right here, conventional gear oil, and our drain. Up in the front, we have a classic idler. This is gonna look very familiar to any of us that are in the construction equipment industry. You're gonna recognize this undercarriage. If we take a look at the back, we can see the X-frame design. So back here, if I showed you this view on another yellow machine, you would think they look almost identical. Very reliable frame design, this X-frame design to give you a lot of strength in the tracks as you're making those hard counter turns without having to worry about causing frame cracks, frame damage. They're all reinforced steel welds. Behind, we have our final drive motors, of course, easy access to get to. From a mechanic point of view, if you're used to working on CAT equipment, very similar, a lot of 16 and 18 mil socket, quite a bit. When we think about the cabin here, we've got a cabin filter, easy access to get to, just behind the door, right here. So we've got fresh air coming in the cab. I mean, that stands that you actually kept the door closed. But assuming you did, then you have filtered air coming in there. As always, we have the ability to position our mirrors, get them out of the way, make sure that we can get them to what we can see. And as we get into the cab, for many of us, this is going to feel very familiar. Depending on where you've come from, this is going to feel like a yellow piece of iron. Okay, so we've got our hydraulic isolation lock right here. We have our joysticks on the side, conventional stick arrangements for boom and stick, bucket, curl. That's going to be the same, everything you're used to. On the left-hand side right here, we have our inhibit of regen. So we have the ability to delay the regen if you're in a combustible environment. We also have, if you have a pin grabber quick coupler, if this has been equipped with a pin grabber, that switch is right here. And then we've got our work lights. Conveniently on the right-hand side, we don't really need to leave our armrest position. We have our foot controls to be able to drive just like every other excavator. And then we have our blade control and we have our boom and stick bucket controls. If you have that door closed and you still want some fresh air, you want some better visibility, maybe your window's gotten dirty like this one has, we can simply flick the latches up in the top corner right here. We can simply lift up our window, click that into place, and now we have full view. All right, in addition, if you're sitting in there, you want a little sunroof action, you need a little visibility, we have that there. We can pop open that seat, that top moon roof, and we have a little bit more airflow without having to commit the whole front window. Standard controls right here. So if we take a look on the top of our joysticks have the ability to have hydraulic control for our coupler, our small coupler, but then our large coupler is actually controlled with our foot down here. We have in the display the ability for you to tell the machine what that attachment is, and not just that, you can also set the pressure and the flow for that attachment. So if you're buying a hoe pack or a hammer or an auger, and the manufacturer of that auger or hoe pack has told you that you can't run all 240 liters per minute that this Kawasaki pump set can put out, and instead you need to reduce that flow or reduce the pressure, that is programmable in your machine. So we are sending to your hydraulic quick attach only what you need to make sure that you're not wrecking the attachments you've bought for your machine. All this equipment is an investment. They all do break down, but let's not hurry that up by giving them too much flow or too much pressure. And then if we take a look at the ground level over here, we've got our swing grease points, we've got our cylinder grease points, and very conveniently located a couple steps up the track, we have grease manifolds. If you're coming up here to check the engine oil anyway, The grease manifold for the lower boom pins and the upper pins is actually right here. So really easy to get a hold of. Make sure that you're doing those daily grease intervals. Take a look at the engine compartment. Cummins B6.7, Tier 4 engine, turbo actuator, turbo right up on top. Engine oil, check right here. Nice and easy to get a hold of. Get that put back in there. Underneath this cover, that one doesn't flip up so easily, which is sort of nice. Try and reduce the traffic in there, but your after treatment system is sitting right underneath this cover with our beautiful chrome tailpipe. Those are our backup cameras right here. So we have a camera on the reverse side and we have a camera on this right side. All right, so this has been the XE235UCR reduced tail swing from XCMG. We have one in Calgary in the yard. We can get it to you in Lethbridge. You can come up and take a look at it. Give our sales team a call. There'll be a link in the description down below. We're available on www.foothillsgroup.ca/XCMG. You can find the listing there. Give us a call. Come test drive this thing, and let's put it to work for you so you can move more material for less.